Have you ever stopped to wonder why life sometimes seems to take everything from you? Why, even with a heart full of love and a sincere desire to do good, does the world insist on showing you closed doors and lonely paths? What if I told you that none of this is coincidence? That there is a hidden purpose behind every tear, every silent night, and every overdue bill? Sometimes, it is in the apparent chaos that the universe writes the most important pages of our story. Being chosen isn't a title of immediate glory, it's a profound calling, almost invisible to the eyes of the world, but deafening to your soul. It's feeling born for something greater, even if you don't yet know exactly what that is. It's carrying an inner fire that never goes out, even when everything around you seems to want to extinguish it. The chosen one carries an invisible weight on their shoulders, the mission to transform pain into light, failures into learning, and loneliness into strength. But the path of the chosen never begins with applause. It begins in silence. It begins with isolation, with misunderstanding, with the feeling of being too different to fit in. It is in this arid terrain that the seed of your true identity is planted. Like the hero of ancient stories, you are called to cross a desert, not to be punished, but to be honed. Every difficulty you face is like a riddle the universe presents to you: the lack of resources, the separation from loved ones, the loneliness that echoes in the early morning. None of this is random. These are phases of invisible training, an intensive course to strengthen what is most precious within you, your essence. While the world looks outward, the chosen one is invited to look within. And it is in this inner dive that the miracle begins. It is when, without realizing it, you learn to hear your own voice, to trust your intuition, and to feel that there is something greater guiding each step. Perhaps, for now, it just feels like pain, but, in truth, it is preparation. And those who resist this process eventually discover that, behind every loss, there was a hidden gift, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The first reason so many chosen ones feel alone is because isolation is their forge. Contrary to what it may seem, it is not a punishment, but a summons to an intimate encounter with one's own soul. It is in the silence of long nights and mornings when no one knocks on your door that the universe whispers truths that cannot be heard over the noise of the world. Like a patient craftsman, it sculpts every detail of your being away from hurried eyes. When external voices fall silent, you begin to hear the most important of all, your own. And it is at this moment that old patterns reveal themselves, ancient wounds emerge, and, little by little, you begin to free yourself from everything that is not truly you. Friendships that no longer vibrate at your frequency drift away, distractions lose their strength, and what seemed like solitude begins to transform into space for the new, for the true. Think of the monks who retreat to the mountains, or the heroes who traverse dark forests before finding the treasure. You are experiencing your own retreat, even if you haven't consciously chosen it. This forced pause is an invitation to strip away the masks the world has placed upon you, until only the raw, powerful essence of your being remains. And it is precisely in this apparent absence of everything that clarity arrives. You begin to see beyond illusions, recognizing what truly matters and what was merely dead weight. You learn to sustain yourself from the inside out, to find security not in circumstances, but in your connection with the divine. It is a slow but profound transformation, like the invisible work of roots before a tree breaks through the earth. In the end, you realize that isolation didn't break you, it built you. It gave you sharper eyes, a more sensitive heart, and a more alert mind. It made you capable of weathering storms without losing your bearings, because now the compass is within you. What was once seen as absence is now recognized as the solid foundation for all that is to come. The second reason the chosen ones go through periods of financial hardship is because material detachment is an essential part of their spiritual awakening. When money is scarce, we are forced to look at what truly sustains life, and we realize that it is not the balance in the bank, but the presence of God in every step. This phase is like a sacred test, where the Creator asks, "Do you trust me, even when you can't see the way?" Scarcity, though painful, acts as a refinement of faith. Every bill you don't know how to pay, every need that seems impossible to meet, is an opportunity to witness miracles. It is in this dry ground that stories of inexplicable provision flourish, where doors open where you least expect them. This is where you learn that heaven never abandons those who walk in its purpose. Remember, gold doesn't shine until it passes through the fire. Likewise, Your spirit must endure the heat of total dependence on God for your faith to be purified. Material riches can be taken away, but the spiritual riches you gain in this process can never be stolen. You become someone who doesn't measure their worth by what they have, but by who they are in essence. And in this process, something profound happens. You stop chasing money like someone chasing a savior. Money ceases to be a master and becomes a servant, a tool that the Creator will place in your hands at the right time, so that it serves its purpose and not your ego. Detachment doesn't mean rejecting abundance, but rather being free to receive it without being enslaved by it. At the end of this ordeal, you discover that you were never truly without anything. Your hands may have been empty, but your spirit was being fueled with courage, gratitude, and vision. And when this lesson is learned, the flow begins to change. Heaven releases resources, opportunities, and connections because it knows you are now ready not just to have more, but to be more. The third reason the chosen feel out of place is because they weren't made to fit in. What to many seems strange or different, to God is a hallmark of a unique purpose. You carry gifts, insights, and a sensitivity that the world doesn't always understand. And even if loneliness tries to rob you of hope, it is actually a reminder that you were set apart for something special. When you begin to accept who you truly are, the light you once tried to hide begins to shine fearlessly. You realize that you no longer need to mold your essence to fit into spaces too small for the size of your soul. This liberation brings with it a breath of hope, the understanding that your uniqueness is not a flaw, but a key to unlocking doors that only you can open. The chosen, by nature, walk paths less traveled. That's why they so often feel like they're going against the grain of the world. But it's precisely this unusual path that takes them to places few reach. And while others seek approval, you learn to seek alignment. It is at this moment that hope ceases to be a dim flame and becomes a beacon illuminating your journey. This self-acceptance also attracts those who need your light. When you embrace your uniqueness with love and courage, you become a beacon for other travelers who still feel lost. You not only find your own direction, but also become part of the compass of those trying to find theirs. And there is a silent but powerful hope in knowing that your life inspires others. In the end, you understand that you were not born to be a shadow in the crowds, but rather a light on deserted paths. And the hope of seeing your purpose blossom keeps you steadfast, even on cloudy days. Because you know, those called by God to something unique never walk alone for long. The moment to shine always comes for those who remain true to who they are. The fourth reason why the chosen ones face so many battles is because pressure is the school where their power is revealed. Just as coal only transforms into diamonds after enduring immense pressure, you too are being molded to become stronger than you imagine. Every challenge, every closed door, and every tear shed builds spiritual muscle that will prepare you to carry out victories greater than you ever dreamed. It's in trials that you discover what you're made of. When everything seems against you, that's when your fighting spirit awakens and the flame of overcoming is lit. You realize that, even when you're tired, you keep moving forward. Even when you're afraid, you keep trying. And this silent perseverance is proof that the strength within you is far greater than any obstacle. The universe, or rather, God Himself, does not waste battles. Every difficulty He has allowed in your life has a specific purpose, to align you with your true destiny. When you understand that you are not being punished, but trained, the way you approach problems changes. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" And it is at this point that motivation becomes fuel. You realize that each day is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you were born to win. Defeats don't define you, setbacks don't weaken you, and failures don't destroy you. On the contrary, all of this is sharpening your vision, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for the impact you are about to make on the world. When this transformation happens, you stop chasing and start attracting. Abundance, peace, and opportunities flow to you because your heart is now aligned with purpose, not ego. And the most powerful thing is knowing that, regardless of what lies ahead, you have already proven to yourself that you are capable of enduring and overcoming. This is the true power of the chosen. Now that you've walked with me for every reason, perhaps you're seeing your own story with new eyes. Those days of silence, the hidden tears, the nights when sleep wouldn't come, it was all part of a greater plan. It wasn't the end, but preparation. It wasn't abandonment, it was divine care. Your every step was guided by invisible hands that know exactly where you need to go. You are stronger than you imagine. The battles you've won so far are proof of that. And even if there are still struggles ahead, remember, nothing is in vain for those who have been called. Your purpose will not be interrupted by difficulties, time, or the opinions of others. What God has written for you cannot be erased by any circumstance. If the road seems difficult today, take a deep breath and remember, the desert doesn't last forever. Every process has its end, and the harvest comes to those who don't give up. The seeds you planted in tears will be harvested in joy. The promises God whispered to your heart are still alive, waiting for the right moment to blossom before your eyes. You are not alone. There are other chosen ones walking beside you, even if you can't see them. And above all, there is a God who never lets go of your hand, not even for a second. He is the sustenance in times of scarcity, the voice in the silence, and the strength when your strength runs out. And He has already prepared places where your story will be used to heal, inspire, and transform lives. So, lift your head and move on. The time for hiding is over. The world needs the light you carry. Your every scar will be living proof that it is possible to overcome, and your every victory will be a beacon for those still on the path. You were not broken, you were molded. And now you are ready to live all that you were called to. Perhaps you've come this far carrying the weight of years of struggle, unanswered questions, and prayers that seemed unheard. But I need you to understand something. Nothing was wasted. Every tear that fell, every door that closed, and every time you thought about giving up, God was there, shaping your story so that it would become a living testament to overcoming adversity. You are not the same as when you began this journey. You are stronger, wiser, and more prepared. If your heart still aches today, remember that even the deepest wound can become a scar, and a scar is a sign of healing. Perhaps you are still in the midst of the storm right now, but the heavens are about to open. Your journey is not proof of weakness, but rather evidence that you were chosen for something that requires unshakable inner strength, and that strength is being built, even if you don't realize it. Look within and realize that, even without all the answers, you are still standing. That is already a victory. With each step, fear gives way to faith, and faith gives way to hope. It is this alignment that will make you see that your life has a much greater meaning than your circumstances suggest right now. You are being guided by something eternal, not something fleeting. And when the day comes, and it will come when you look back and see everything you've overcome, you'll realize that nothing could have been different. Every delay was protection, every no was guidance, and every silence was a conversation between you and God that perhaps only now makes sense. You will be grateful for the process, because it helped you discover who you truly are. So, remember this: you are not living to survive, but to fulfill a purpose. Keep going, even if the path is still cloudy. The light you carry is needed, and the world is waiting to see it shine. Your time will come, and when it does, everyone will understand that you are not defeated, you are simply being prepared. If you'd like, I can also create a powerful closing line, said while staring into the camera, to close the video with maximum force and send shivers down the spine of the viewer. This would create an even stronger emotional impact. Want me to do that line too? You're not waiting for a miracle. You're becoming the miracle.